the government and pay our federal workers. I want every American to hear this clearly. What Barack Obama demanded then is exactly what Republicans are saying now. We will not allow the American people to be taken hostage over partisan demands. Democrats cheered on Barack Obama back then, and now they flipped their entire position out of pure politics. It's now time for them to take their...
They say Republicans are to blame for the shutdown, but that's a lie. Chuck Schumer's playing political games with your country, and today we're calling him out. Let's get into it.
Now, I'll end on one very important note. Ending this shutdown is not a one-party exercise. Republicans do have control of Congress, quote unquote, but it still takes 60 votes to pass a funding bill in the Senate. All of this is the way the founders intended the process to work. Any Democrats who suggest otherwise are willfully misleading the American people. Chuck Schumer gave a speech on the Senate floor, I think it was on Friday, looked right into the cameras and said, Republicans are in control, and this is all on them. He knows full well that it takes 60 votes, and we only have 53 Republicans in the Senate. There's already a bipartisan majority in the Senate that supports our clean CR. There are two Democrats and one independent who caucuses with Democrats, 3 Democrat votes total, who have gone along with Republicans and using common sense to keep the government open. We need 5 Senate Democrats now to break ranks and do the right thing. The only ransom here is the $1.5 trillion that Chuck Schumer is demanding from the American people. And you've all heard our Democrat colleagues demand that Republicans come to the table to negotiate. But as I've said time and time again, I don't have anything to negotiate with. We don't have any partisan policy riders that I can remove from the funding bill because Republicans didn't include any. It is a truly clean, nonpartisan short-term CR. They don't really want a negotiation. It's just a talking point. They're not interested in negotiation. Again, look at their counter-proposal. $1.5 trillion in new spending, $200 billion to use hard-earned taxpayer dollars to fund health care and other benefits for illegal aliens and non-citizens. And they want to give $500 million to liberal news outlets, to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, while cutting $50 billion from rural hospitals. These are not serious measures. They're not serious counter-proposals, and they know that. They know they can't tell voters. The Senate Democrats cannot tell voters that they're willing to hold hostage funding for the nutrition of women, infants, and children in exchange for restoring health care to illegal aliens. So they want to do this behind closed doors. And you've heard Chuck Schumer say breathlessly, I just want the 4 leaders to get in a back room and make a deal. We're not doing that. We're not doing that anymore. We're getting back to regular order, and it's infuriating that that's what he continues to demand. Before Democrats recklessly shut down the government, Republicans and Democrats were engaged in responsible, open, bipartisan negotiations on the appropriations process. Republicans are eager to return to the actual negotiating table, to finish out full-year appropriations and do work on all the other matters before us, but we won't negotiate in smoke-filled back rooms, and we won't negotiate as hostages. Democrats in the Senate have been around a long time, and they'll remember this important plea, and I'll leave you with this thought. Listen closely to what I say here. Quote, there's only one way out of this reckless and damaging shutdown. Pass a budget that funds our government with no partisan strings attached. The American people don't get to demand ransom in exchange for doing their job. Neither does Congress. They don't get to hold our democracy or our economy hostage over a settled law. That's not how our democracy is supposed to work. That's why I won't pay a ransom in exchange for reopening the government. I'll always work with anyone of either party on ways to grow this economy, create new jobs, and get our fiscal house in order for the long haul, but not under the shadow of these threats, unquote. What I just read was a direct quote. Those are not my words. They belong to President Barack Obama. He was speaking there in 2013 when our government was shut down for 16 days. This would be the 3rd longest government shutdown in American history. That one would be. And my friends, if Democrats keep up their obstruction here today, this is where we're going to be headed. We're barreling toward one of the longest shutdowns in American history unless Democrats drop their partisan demands and pass a clean, no-strings-attached budget to reopen the government and pay our federal workers. I want every American to hear this clearly. What Barack Obama demanded then is exactly what Republicans are saying now. We will not allow the American people to be taken hostage over partisan demands. Democrats cheered on Barack Obama back then, and now they flipped their entire position out of pure politics. It's now time for them to take their favorite president's advice. Do what he said was right. Pass the clean, no strings attached bill and reopen the government. We're on duty here, and we can return quickly to legislative session as soon as you turn the lights back on, Chuck Schumer, and end this unnecessary hardship for the American people. They know they can't tell voters. The Senate Democrats cannot tell voters that they're willing to hold hostage funding for the nutrition of women, infants, and children in exchange for restoring health care to illegal aliens. So they want to do this behind closed doors. And you've heard Chuck Schumer say breathlessly,
Patriots, welcome back to Jace Manoir, the one place that cuts through the noise and gives it to you straight. If you're sick of the lies, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the bell. Let's make some noise. Chuck Schumer wants you to believe this shutdown is all the Republicans' fault. But guess what? He knows that's not true. And I'm about to expose exactly why. Let's get something straight. Ending this shutdown isn't a one-party job. It takes 60 votes in the Senate. Republicans have 53, so Democrats have to show up and do their jobs too. But instead, Schumer gets up on the Senate floor, looks straight into the camera, and blames Republicans. He's lying to the American people, and he knows it. There's already a bipartisan majority ready to pass a clean, short-term bill to keep the government running. Even a few Democrats broke ranks to support it. But Schumer and his crew? They're holding the country hostage for $1.5 trillion in new spending. That's not governing, that's a shakedown. Let's look at what they want. $200 billion for benefits to illegal immigrants, $500 million to prop up liberal media outlets, and a $50 billion cut to rural hospitals. Tell me how that helps hardworking Americans. It doesn't. It's political payoffs dressed up as negotiation. And here's the kicker. Schumer wants to drag everything into some back room and cut deals in the dark like it's 1970. Republicans said no. No more smoke-filled rooms. No more swamp games. They're demanding regular order, the way the founders intended. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Back in 2013, Barack Obama himself said during a shutdown, "Pass a budget with no partisan strings attached. You don't get to hold the government hostage." His words, not mine. Democrats cheered him then. Today they're doing the exact opposite. Pure politics. Pure hypocrisy. If they keep this up, we're staring down one of the longest shutdowns in American history. And it's all because Senate Democrats refuse to pass a clean bill. Republicans are standing exactly where Obama stood in 2013. Democrats are the ones who flipped. So let's call it what it is. This shutdown isn't on Republicans. It's on Schumer and his political ransom demands. If you're tired of the spin, if you want Washington to get back to work, hit like, subscribe to Jace Manoir, and share this message far and wide. The mainstream media won't say it, but we will.